Welcome into Brewers Daily. We are live from Orlando at the winter meetings. Lots going to be going on this week. This is the time. This is when everything is most concentrated in the baseball offseason. So we are here. We are on the ground, and we are going to be getting some intel here. We're going to be talking about the Milwaukee Brewers and what's going to be happening here at these winter meetings. The festivities are already getting underway. We have seen the Hall of Fame election of Jeff Kent via the contemporary ballot. He gets 14 of the 16 votes. And, on that committee was Brewers owner Mark Attanasio, former GM Doug Melvin, and, of course, the Brewers legend, Robin Yount. He was on there as well, so they get to elect Jeff Kent to the Hall of Fame. And that kicks off the winter meetings here. Going to be a lot more coming up. We got the MLB draft lottery. We got the Rule 5 draft. And hopefully a ton of activity coming here at the winter meetings. With trades, with free agency, and seeing perhaps what the Brewers might do in those two areas. Now, I'm not expecting the Brewers to be, hanging around at the top of the market necessarily, because there are a lot of big names that are going to be, moving here fairly soon. And hopefully that can be starting an avalanche as well of other names, other signings, other trades happening here across baseball. But you just kind of need to wait for something to happen to kind of trigger the rest of it. And perhaps that's Kyle Schwarber. He's a name that's been thrown about here as someone who could sign fairly soon. And then once he does, that is going to get the rest of the market moving when it comes to the hitters. Also on the pitcher side, Framber Valdez is atop the market for starting pitchers once he signs. I mean, there's not a very strong crop of free agent starting pitchers this year, but there's a ton of teams that are looking for starting pitching. And, once he goes, there's going to be a lot of teams that just get a little bit more desperate to find themselves a starting pitcher. And could that lead to them increasing their offer for Freddie Peralta? Potentially. That's something that we could see happen here. But, will it rise enough to the level where Matt Arnold pulls the trigger on a deal? We'll see. I'm not anticipating that happening here at these winter meetings, but the groundwork could be laid for sure if any of that happens, and we'll see how the landscape ends up falling here in the pitching market with Framber Valdez, Ranger Suarez as two of the top pitchers out there, and seeing the market move in that direction. Because once someone goes, there really generally tends to be a run of players at that kind of position. Now, whether it's Kyle Schwarber and, starting a run on the position players, maybe it could be an Edwin Diaz, and you finish the run on top-tier closers and top-tier relievers. That could happen. It could be a run on starting pitching. You never know. It could be a variety. There's a ton of different things that you never know. You can never predict what will happen at the winter meetings, but what we do know, what we can predict, is that it will be fun, and it will be very exciting once we see these guys end up moving along. Now, the Brewers are not going to be shopping in these markets. They're going to be hanging out in a different aisle over there. They're going to be looking for more some of the bargain suggestions, and they don't need to go get a Kyle Schwarber or a Framber Valdez. They're not going to be looking at that. And once those runs start, the Brewers are going to be checking the other aisles, and where there's going to be basically nobody shopping. And they're going to be checking out and seeing what they want and seeing who might be the best fit for them, because, other teams have their to-do lists, and Matt Arnold has his, Brewers president of baseball operations. So what can be on his to-do list? If you're looking at this for Matt Arnold, what would he have on his to-do list at these winter meetings? And really, I think he got a couple of things. I think, first of all, you got backup catcher on the to-do list, because right now you only have two catchers on the 40-man roster, William Contreras and Jefferson Caro. And the Brewers like Caro. They believe in him. They think he's going to be a really great player for him. But also he has missed quite a bit of time. He missed the entire 2024 season with an injury, then missed the first chunk of this year with that injury coming back, and then a hamstring. And it took him a while to kind of get going down there in AAA. And even then, defensively, the arm strength was not back to what it was before. There were some serious struggles with the arm strength for Jefferson Caro. So if he's going to be your backup catcher at the big league level, you need him to be at least up to par somewhat defensively if you're going to be able to trust him. And even still, as much as the Brewers like him, I think it'd be smart for them to add some insurance at the catcher position. Get yourself a third catcher on the 40-man. That way, you can have someone who can step in right away and be a backup to Contreras, and perhaps allow Carroll a little bit more time at AAA to ensure that he's fully healthy, to ensure that that shoulder is ready to go. Because if his shoulder does not get back to the level that it was before, or at least a decent level, a passable level, the Brewers are going to be in a real pickle when it comes to their backup shortstop job. So getting someone now, getting someone who can provide that insurance as a veteran, I think would be a very wise move for Matt Arnold to make. And the winter meetings here could be that exact spot for them to do it and get someone on the roster. So that's a spot that I'm going to look. Andrew Kinzer is a name that kind of sticks out to me, who could be a pretty solid addition here for the Brewers to be a backup catcher, just on a one-year deal for the Brewers behind William Contreras. And then also another spot I think that's going to be on Matt Arnold's to-do list is adding a pitcher, whether it's a starter, whether it's a reliever, adding someone to this pitching staff, because you can never have enough pitching depth. We learned that especially this past season. You can never have enough of it. So I think whether it's even on a minor league deal, minor league deal, major league deal, getting someone just to kind of add to your options that you're going to have heading into camp this year, I think that'd be something that'd be very smart for Matt Arnold to walk away with. It doesn't have to be a Framber Valdez. It's not going to be a Framber Valdez, but still, even though it's not going to be a big name guy necessarily, being able to walk away with some extra pitching, I think would be very prudent for Arnold. Right now you've got all these guys out there on the market, and the Brewers are basically going to be looking at every single one, and they're going to find their guys that fit what they like to do, that they think, hey, if we get him into our system, he's going to become even better. He's got the traits, he's got the skills that we know we can develop, that we can fine tune, that we can tweak just a little bit and turn him into a really quality major league pitcher. That's going to be the guy that they're going to go get. It may be a guy you've never heard of before. It may be a name that nobody knows, but somehow they're going to get him, and he's going to end up being a really good pitcher for him next season. So I'm just expecting, I don't know who it's going to be, but I think there's going to be someone. If you want me to throw a name out there, I'll throw out Luke Jackson as a reliever. He's someone he kind of spent the latter part of last year with Seattle, did a really good job. Made a couple of tweaks there. Maybe he could end up coming to the Brewers, but really, it could be any off the wall name pitcher out there. It could be a waiver claim. It could be a Rule 5 pick. It could be a free agent. No idea who, but I think you're going to see at least one pitcher get added to this organization. I think that's going to be on Matt Arnold's to-do list here at the winter meetings. And, one other thing that he could be looking at, potentially adding to the to-do list, but not necessarily having to get it done, is a potential trade of his closer, Trevor Megill. Now, I've talked about this a little bit previously on previous shows here on Brewers Daily about if the Brewers should trade Trevor Megill this offseason, given that you have Abner Uribe, given the rising salary there for Megill, he's coming off a strong season. You don't know if he'll be able to, do that again next year. So, maybe sell high on him. And I think the opportunity to sell high on Trevor Megill absolutely is there after just seeing what happened over the weekend here with the Washington Nationals trading their closer, Jose Ferrer, to the Seattle Mariners for a top 50 prospect in Harry Ford, the former first-round pick, a catcher, just an absolutely dynamite prospect. Him plus a pitching prospect drafted this year get traded back to Washington for Jose Ferrer, who is not really even that established of a closer. I mean, he had like 11 saves this past year. So, it was a couple years of control, but so does Trevor Megill. So I think if that's the price teams are willing to pay for a closer, perhaps one that's not even as established like Jose Ferrer, for a bit more of an established one like Trevor Megill, then the price is going to be very high, and teams are willing to pay it. So I think that's something that Matt Arnold has to seriously consider. Now, I'm not sure if the market is totally going to be there, at that level for Trevor Megill. This seemed like, quite the overpay by the Mariners. There's still some other closers out there on the free agent market. such as your Pete Fairbanks or Edwin Diaz's. Those guys are still there. So with them out there, there may not be as many teams. There may not be a team as desperate to get a closer like Trevor McGill and be willing to pay up that kind of a price. But when you see what Jose Ferrer goes for, if you're Matt Arnold, you absolutely have to very strongly consider a Trevor McGill trade, and you have to look at what that price tag is going to be because it's clearly up there based on the comparisons that we have to go on. And when you see that happen, when that sets the market here at the winter meetings, that can create a feeding frenzy, or there's the other possibility it could completely stall the market as well. So because there's going to be teams that are like, hey, this guy went for that much, my guy's worth totally more than that. When everyone else is like, no, that was an overpay. We are absolutely not going to be doing that, and they're going to just wait it out until the price tag gets lower. So that means we could either see this move hot and heavy here with the closer market, and maybe McGill goes, or we could see this thing drag out until like late January, which is also a very, very real possibility. So, but still, that is absolutely something that Matt Arnold has to consider as this offseason goes along and as these winter meetings go along. And I'm imagining he's going to be having those conversations over the next couple of days about what teams would be willing to pay for Trevor McGill because the closer market is very, very active. So we'll be on the scenes here covering it all and getting you coverage every single day here from Orlando, from the winter meetings. We're going to be boots on the ground. We're going to be walking around the JW Marriott down here and, trying to have some conversation, see what we can hear, see what we can find out. And we'll be with you every single day here on Brewers Daily, getting you those updates, talking about what could be happening with our favorite team, the Milwaukee Brewers. So that'll do it for this episode, as we'll see intel and news come in hot and heavy over these next couple of days. So very excited for that. And so be sure to stay tuned and be sure to watch for those next episodes coming out. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification button, make sure you get notified every single time a new episode drops so you don't miss a bit of it. And thank you for watching. And this has been Brewers Daily.